Before he could come back to his family farm, J.R. Boyke's father insisted that he worked somewhere else first, and 15 years later, he's sure glad he did. This next generation dairyman tells us about the important lessons he learned working on other dairies, from a 60-cow high genetic herd in a tie stall barn to starting up a large-scale rotary. What it was like for him to come back at 23 years old, starting at the bottom and working his way up, and how these experiences have developed him over the past 15 years into the manager, partner, and leader he is today. We are visiting with J.R. Boyke of Vir-Clar Farms in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin on this Uplevel Dairy Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Compeer Financial. Compeer Financial is a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture in rural America. Their dairy team brings world-class expertise and tailored solutions to support dairy producers' financial goals and lending needs. Well, so JR, we're here at Vir-Clar in Fond du Lac, and this is the home farm. This is where you grew up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're actually in our visitor center here that we're pretty excited about. My sister had a vision for doing something like this, so yeah, we're really excited about it.
But this wasn't always here. Vir-Clar looked a little bit different when you were growing up. What's changed from when you were a kid to what we see here today?
My grandpa kind of got started with this with 28 Guernseys, and my dad came back from college with a little bit more of a genetic focus and thought process. So my dad took it from the Guernseys to the first registered Holsteins, and we kind of came to a point when I was really young, 8, 9 years old, that my dad couldn't do it in the tie stall barn any longer. So we either were going to get out or expand and do this. And we decided to do this and went from 300 cows and so on down the road to where we are today at 2,400. So at this location.
So you still recall milking cows in a tie stall barn?
Yeah, I can remember it a little bit. I was 10 when we did this. So I remember doing the chores in the tie stall barn, but the best memory I have is when we moved the cows from the tie stall up to this barn. I got to stay home from school that day. So that was really exciting and fun, and cows were running everywhere because the fencing that we had set up didn't work. So but it was just a good memory I had from my childhood, and when we got up here, it was really a fun experience.
What a stamp in your memory that really marked one of those initial growth stages that Vir-Clar has gone through, starting from when you were a kid. And when you talk about growing up in that tie stall barn, one of the things that's really neat about where we're sitting right now is there's this platform that's right behind us, and it's got these kind of greenish teal colored barn boards. Yeah. There's some history there, isn't it?
Yeah, those are the barn boards from our old tie stall barn. The hay mow had teal barn boards on it, and yeah, we brought those up here, and you'll see teal barn boards in all of our houses. We all have a little bit of a keepsake from the barn. We also have teal, siding, metal siding that we've. My wife does a lot of projects with those kind of things. So yeah, we just try to keep the memory alive.
Yeah, so you keep a little bit of that piece of the past as you focus on the future and the next stages at Vir-Clar here. And when you look at what your role is now with the farm, is this where you thought you would be?
I would say it kind of came full circle. When I came back here, I was one of the guys in the barns. I was not a herdsman. I was not anybody in charge. My dad made it very clear when I came back that I was maybe gonna have some certain areas that I'd take care of, but I was not gonna tell any employees what to do. I was not gonna be in charge. I was not gonna take over anything. I was going to come in here and I was going to be the low man on the totem pole and listen to what people said until he felt the time was right. So I've learned a lot, and I really do appreciate those things that my dad taught me on that. So
tell me about coming back. And what was the process like from growing up here, graduating high school, and then there was a gap in time between then and when you came back and started doing just what you say,
Yeah.
working your way up through the chain here. What did that time period in between look like for you?
Yeah, at the time I graduated high school and I decided to go on to farm and industry short course in Madison. After short course, I went and worked for Will-Star, which at the time was approximately 60 registered cattle, and learned how the genetic end of things worked at a smaller farm. Genetics were something that has always been really, really important to me, and it's really awesome because it comes full circle back towards the end of where I'm at right now. But after that, I did that for about a year and a half as like a internship slash full-time job. And then I went and worked at Rosendale Dairy, which at the time was brand new. I was there basically hired for day one when actually before the cattle were even there. I was painting posts and putting in stalls and working at their other farms until the farm was ready. So quite a shockwave going from a 60 cow registered herd to at the time it was going to be a 4,000 cow dairy.
How did you know when it was time to come back here?
That's a wonderful question. I the time was right for me when my dad and I talked a little bit. There was an opportunity over there at Rosendale for me to move up the ladder. But my dad just made the comment of, I think we're ready for you. If you want it, you can have it. You can come back here, but you're also you're not gonna be the guy on day one. And I chose to come back and work for my family.
So you come back, you're how old at this point in time?
Oh boy, I believe it was 23, 24.
Okay. And you would jump into things here. What were your responsibilities like those first few years? And also, how's it changed today?
Yeah, so like the opportunities I got here were like we were hiring out our breeding. So I came back and took over that sector because it was silly for us to pay for it when I could do it. Before I went to college, I was taking care of our heifer farm and doing all the breeding up there. So I came back and brought that back immediately. I had learned over there how to do some hoof trimming. I knew that I didn't want to be the hoof trimmer. I ended up hiring a guy that had some experience, and so we brought that back to Vir-Clar, just trying to bring back new ideas and grow Vir-Clar at the time.
So, you talk about that, bringing back new ideas, and you have a really long-standing team here. In fact, if someone were to ask me, what is Vir-Clar Farms known for? I would say an incredible team of employees, incredible employee engagement. That's part of what I believe is your brand of what you're known for here.
Sure.
And so when you think about that, so you're coming in with new ideas and you're young, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other folks that are in that spot or have been in that spot. What worked for you in being able to bring some of those new ideas into play?
Well, I would say it wasn't easy. And I at 24, or 23 or 24, whatever it was, uh, I wasn't probably very good at how I uh, brought it to the table. I just thought I have this great idea. We should just be doing it. That's not how it works when you're working with a group of people, and that's one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older. But the easy things were the stuff we didn't do. It was more so the other stuff, and for me, it was probably really frustrating at 24 years old that people weren't wanting to use all my ideas. But it was also a good learning lesson for me that stay patient, stay diligent, and we can keep implementing these ideas as we go.
So you could see opportunities on the cow side of things. And you mentioned that genetics is something you're really passionate about. You also spent some time in your career since you've been back here on the farm working on some other sides of the farming business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so how I went I was here for approximately 5 years, I would say. In the meantime, I was running the barns after a certain amount of time. We also had hired Joaquin. He brought forth a really awesome skill set. He was doing the same things I was with ultrasounding, and he had that figured out. We had great communication, but then Joaquin kind of took over the cow end of things, and I was doing a little bit more on the operations and cropping end of things.
What were some of the biggest things that really stand out to you that you learned in that experience?
I learned that cows are so much more predictable than the weather. That was one of the biggest ones. But no, on all seriousness, I learned that we could do things pretty efficiently, and we had some things that we needed to get better at out there.
And now you are actually back on the cow side, right?
Yeah, working towards that. My brother-in-law Grant is has a little bit of a crop passion, and his sons are really excited about it as well. And we've started to do a little more genetic things here at the farm in the last couple years, and I am thoroughly excited about the opportunity with genomic testing. Now we've been doing that for about 6 months, and just really need to focus a little bit more of my attention on that because there's a lot of things, and that's such a fast moving uh, game that we're playing that we got to keep up on that stuff. So yeah, I've been enjoying the time that I've got to be back in this building a lot more than being in a chopper. So
Yeah, and the genetics and genomics opportunity, I can even tell the shift in the tone of your voice. It does excite you, doesn't
yeah,
it?
definitely. We like retrofitted a barn that we've done show cattle with. So been playing around with that for a few years, and that's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. And the genomics thing is very, very new and fresh, and learning a lot about it, trying to catch up and keep up. And uh, every week we get new results, so it's always fun to dive into that a little bit and see where we're at.
What do you think genomic testing and the application of that information will do for the cows here?
Yeah, I think that's going to be everyone wants to make a really expensive cow or heifer or whatever, but I think that's going to be the biggest thing is we are genetically we have a wonderful herd, and I would love to see it really start where we can tweak things here and there to really start making us some more money.
Yeah, so this is an investment in the future of
Yeah,
the herd, really.
definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Good. And you mentioned that you're stepping back into the cows really as your wheelhouse, cows and genetics, and then people management is
Yeah.
part of that realm too for you now, right?
Yeah, I mean, people have always been, uh, what I've handled or taken care of. I work with all these guys on a daily basis and really have a pretty close relationship with most of them. So, um, we, yeah, I'm excited, and it gives me a little more time to focus on some of those things rather than being in a piece of equipment and not being here as much. I can see a little bit more and seeing the things out in the barns that those girls are what makes us our money and keeps us rolling here. So trying to see some of the little things that I can bring now from being out in a mechanical area or operational area that I can see in the barns before maybe it turns into a problem, I think is going to be really beneficial to our team. So
Anything that really stands out for you from being on the operations side that has, just changed the way that you look at what goes on in the barn
yeah.
or vice versa?
One of the things that I knew was a thing and it was great is our guys in the barns are here to take care of our cattle, and they do an absolutely wonderful job. They are, however, not here to, fix this mechanical scraper or see a weld that's broke or those small things that are kind of a pain in the butt at the end of the day, but things that can really make us be efficient. And that's where I think that now that I'm in this new role, I think that can really be something that I bring to the table and try to help our team in the shop have a little more organization the guys in the barn keep their efficiency high.
So this really has been this transition for you from cropping back to cows is really very much an integration of the two different departments on the farm. And what a value you now have of knowing how each one of them works, the strengths of the people on each team, and being able to have the eyes to see two different views of it, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and I really do. I don't know if my dad had that as a purpose or a thought in his brain, but like part of farming is you really do have to be well-rounded and know, like, there's some days you could be a chemist, some days you could be a agronomist. I feel like if you're unwilling to do it, the people here have a hard time working for you and respecting you. For me, it's all about the respect of my employees, and I really do try to show them that I'm not afraid to have, you know, be in the knee-high manure or working till midnight chopping or sitting in an interview here with you today. Like, I want to be well-rounded and do all of it.
You know, when you talk about just the things that you have done along the way, and putting yourself in very comfortably in positions to start from the ground up, that must speak volumes to the team here as well, knowing that, you know, you're willing to do the same things now, but you also have done a lot of their jobs.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that was a focus for my dad, was that, you know, like, I will never forget when I came back here, the words out of his mouth were, "You will not tell anybody what to do, and you will not make decisions. We will make decisions as a team, and you will be part of the team." And I think that's so important for a young kid coming in. Like, you just have to earn your stripes a little bit for a little bit of time, and if you're hardworking and you use your brain, the opportunities are endless for you.
Well, so, you know, you talked about that advice or that guidance that your dad gave you when you first came back, but that's been what, 15 years now?
I think it's been 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you are in that management role, that higher level management and ownership too.
Yeah.
And so how have things changed?
I've tried to learn some patience. There's definitely was not my strong suit when I was 25. Working with Joaquin is um, his strong suit. Is he is so wonderful at looking through the employee's eyes, and he brings that to us and does it in such a great way that we can start to learn about things that we need to improve upon and be better. And I think that's why Joaquin and I have and the other owners have done such a great job of growing this partnership with him.
Is there anything that really stands out in your mind that he brought to you from the employee perspective that ended up in, you know, a shift or a change that you were able to make to, you know, whether it's the farm or a way of doing things around here?
I have a problem sometimes with not understanding everybody's story. You know, everybody lives a different life or has a bad day or things like that. Joaquin is wonderful at understanding those bad days are going to happen.
And as I mentioned earlier, when I think of what this farm is known for, it's great team of employees, high level of engagement, you know, high performing herd, high performing team. How would you describe the culture that you want here on the farm?
Well, one of the something that's really important to me is Joaquin does fist bumps, I wave. So every time we go, whether it's him or I, we engage an employee or we drive by, we're always, you know, just say hi. It doesn't take us any energy. It doesn't hurt us to do it. Just say hi, see how they're doing, and our guys really do appreciate it.
Mm. And it seems so simple, but yet you found that to be pretty powerful.
It is, yeah. I found it to be very powerful, and it is people really respect it.
So, you know, you talk about that culture and those things that you do right here on a daily basis. You and Joaquin both have your way of really connecting with the team and the people. And in the last year, you have grown your team.
Yep.
And actually taken on a dairy at another site. And how far away is?
It's about 2.5 hours away from here.
Okay, it's about 2.5 hours away. So I'm really curious when you think about having a second site 2.5 hours away. It's one thing to replicate the performance. It's another thing to replicate culture.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here smiling while you're talking because it was, for us, we got really lucky and it was so easy because we had a guy here that was ready. We had been looking for things, just different opportunities, but Ramon is down there and he runs that place on a daily basis and runs it extraordinarily well. He's Joaquin's protege. He just does a wonderful job. There was 10 employees there when we started, and we didn't get rid of a single one. For about 6 months, we worked with them, trained them. Kind of a funny little story with that, if I can go off on a little tangent here. But we had a meeting on day one with the milkers down there, the whole staff down there, just to tell them what we were doing, who we were. And the one guy was there for 3 years, and he told us if we have one more meeting, that would be more meetings than he's had since he's worked there, since he started there. So just those little things, like even on day one, we saw, okay, we got to bring stability. We got to bring Ramon and a guy like Ramon and let her roll. And we learned a lot, but it was really, honestly, it was a really seamless transition, and we're super happy with how things are going.
So you were able to actually maintain the employees that were there through that transition.
Yeah.
And with Ramon there, he could bring the things that were important from culture up here in Fond du Lac,
Yeah.
2.5 hours south to Illinois,
Yeah.
and essentially recreate it with a new team.
Yeah, and we had to do it in baby steps, like if we would have went in there and brought the culture of Vir-Clar on day 2, it wouldn't have probably went well. We needed to teach them a little bit and work with them and understand their side, and then bring them into our culture, type of a deal.
What made it the right decision for Vir-Clar to have a second site 2.5 hours away from where you are right now at the home farm?
Yeah. So there was a couple reasons. One of the reasons is we think that growth is going to need to continue to happen. Growth here in Fond du Lac is going to be hard because we don't really have any more spots to put things. Fond du Lac is growing. They're right at our doorstep over here. So we felt like, maybe a different site was going to be the right opportunity. The second big reason of why we did it is because we had people on our staff that were ready for their next opportunity. And if we don't give them that opportunity, they're not going to stay here. And we understand that and appreciate that. We want our people to grow and get better every day. They want to do a good job for us. And that's hopefully my reward, our reward for being good managers, is that they want to do good for us and they want to have a good product at the end of the day.
So with a lot of other dairies that are looking at similar options for growth, and it's not that much different of a spot than you guys, maybe limited with what you can do where you're at and looking outside to add cows or expand in some way. What is the one piece of advice that you would tell somebody else that is in that stage right now where you guys once were, of looking at that as an opportunity to bring on a second site a distance away?
Sure. Oh, we're only a year into it, so I mean, my advice might not be perfect for everybody, but if you have the right person, that certainly gave us the comfortability of doing something like that. And we did with Ramon. So if you have people that need to, move up or move to the next level, I would feel pretty comfortable with doing something like that.
So it's been all about having the right people in the right places, huh?
For us, for me, so far, that is definitely the case.
I know I had asked you to share a piece of advice you would give to 25-year-old JR And you shared a few little nuggets in our conversation today, but what is the one take-home message that you would give as advice to your younger self?
One of the things that kind of comes to my mind is I wish that, when I was working at Rosendale with Jim Ostrom or John Bosters or even Bill Eberly. Bill Eberly was the guy I worked with every day there. People like that, I wish my brain could have worked where I could have taken a little bit more of the things that they were trying to tell me. Like if I could have just slowed down my brain to like really let some of those things really stick with me. I was a hard worker. So like for me, it was like, hey, JR, we need to get this accomplished and this and that. And I would be like, absolutely, I'll get it accomplished. But like if I could have just taken a little more time and thought about like why do they want me to do this? What's the reasoning? They taught me so much, so many great things. But like now I've also learned why they were doing what they were doing. If I would have been able to just grab some of that at 25, I would have been able to use a little bit more of it in my late 20s instead of my middle 30s.
Well, it sounds like you've done a pretty darn good job of taking what you learned from those places, those people, and turning it into the way that you lead now as an owner, as a manager here at Vir-Clar. So don't be so hard on yourself there.
Dang. Some of the best times of my life was working on those other dairies and learning from other people.
So this is the time in the podcast when we close out with 5 short answer questions. I like to call them the Uplevel 5.
Sure.
And it gives us an opportunity to get to know you. And so for you, JR, first question I have for you is, what does success look like to you?
What does success look like? It looks like I think we have to continue to grow a little bit. I look back at what my dad's decision when I was 10 or 9 or 8, whenever the decision was actually made. It was a decision that set us up for success. And I don't know if my kids will come back. I don't know if who's going to come back here, but I sure do know that there's probably going to be somebody, and we want to be making decisions here to set up our next generation for some success. Respect. I think respect is a big one for me. Like I want to give everybody the respect they deserve, and I also want to get it back. So
Yeah.
those couple things are important to me.
Well, speaking of words, in 3 words, how do you want to show up each day?
I want to be great. I know that's not maybe 3 words, but I want to try to be great. I want to be great for my employees. I want to be great for my family. My family's growing. They're getting older every year, and I when they were little and young, I could get away with, not being there as much or being here a lot more, but I want to try to find the happy medium between, being totally stuck at work or being able to go to their basketball or dairy bowl or whatever they're into. I want to be able to be there for them. So I just want to continue to try to be better every day. Maybe that's the 3-word term, be better every day.
Tell me about your family.
I'm married to my beautiful wife, Samantha. And then we have 3 children. Jordy's 10, Virginia's 7, and Beckham's 4.
Yeah, so you were in the thick of it.
Yeah, we're starting to dabble with sports and dairy judging and dairy bowl and everything that we can try to keep their little brains working on. So,
and a little bit of showing too.
Yeah, that's probably the thing we do the most of is showing. Jordy's been playing around with that a little bit. We don't know if it's gonna be his cup of tea, but Virginia is absolutely in love with it. So she gets out in the ring, and it's pretty fun to watch her work out there. So yeah, we'll see. And no matter what, it's all good. It's just fun that they're down there with me. And Jordy started clipping now a little bit. He's started doing that the other night when we're just clipping off some heifers that just need a little haircut before winter here. So.
He got the Expo fever, didn't he?
Yeah.
After being in Madison a few weeks ago.
Yeah. They got to come a little bit more this year. Sam brought him down 3 or 4 days this year. So it's fun. They're starting to get a group of friends, and they start to hang out with people and that have a passion for it that they maybe don't know yet. So it's fun to see.
Yeah. So that begs a question that's been on my mind since we started chatting today. So at what point do the Guernseys come back to Vir-Clar?
That is one that we have not dabbled with yet. I don't know. I just don't know if I can bring myself to do it, but I'm sure if the right opportunity came about, we'd try to find one. But
All right. Well, I'm going to mark these words, and in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be keeping an eye on what color animals your kids are showing.
don't be
And,
surprised if you see one. It could happen. So
Oh, and so the fun is just beginning with the kids, and what a great there's your word, great. But being better every day, that rings true at the dairy here at the farm, and also at home with the family and the kids.
yeah,
And okay, third question I have for you: who are the thought leaders that you follow?
I would probably say there's a couple of thought leaders. Like Bill Eberly's probably one of my top ones. We talk quite a bit. He's always got something crazy funny to say or wonderful advice to give. He's lived it before I have, and I used to work with him at Rosendale, and he's been one of my top guys to go to when I need some advice or I have questions or even if it's just for a laugh. So
Would Bill think it was funny if I just said right now, anybody that would like a new Facebook friend that constantly puts out funny things for dairy farm managers and anyone who drives manure trucks, that they should follow Bill, Vill, Eberly, Eberle. Did I spell that right?
yeah, they should do
So,
it.
friend Bill Eberly, he will thank us for it later, but you will get
They should probably just throw his phone number.
there we
out
go.
here, too,
Yeah,
so
let's get Bill's number out. Find the link in the show notes. You're welcome, Bill.
Oh yeah,
Bill's always good for a laugh.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So he keeps you laughing, but also, you guys bonded milking cows on the rotary.
Yeah,
Back
I think
at
we got lucky.
Rosendale.
I don't think he had to do it. I think he was just for
We'll remember that.
the herdsman. He ran away from herdsman title that day.
He delegated.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll stop picking on our friend Bill. Who else? Who else is on your short list?
Probably my dad.
Yeah.
My dad is pretty important to me. Just I don't know. Like when you live it, you don't really. I guess when I live it, I don't remember all the wonderful things until you like start to look back on it and like talk about it in podcasts like this. Just the making me go off the farm was a huge deal, and making me come when I came back, just making me wait in the background for a couple of years was really wonderful for me. So my dad definitely would be up on that list too.
And okay, in question number 4, what are the words you live by?
Honest, respectful, hardworking. Those are probably the 3 that I would probably put towards the top of the list.
Yeah.
I've always tried to. It's harder now because I got to sit in an office now and do computer work a lot more than I'd like to. But I've always tried to work as hard as my employees because I didn't ever want to make them do something that I didn't want to do or that I wouldn't do. There's plenty of jobs I don't want to do, but I always wanted to work as hard as them and show them that if I'm doing it, you can do it.
Okay, and last question I have for you today, JR. What's your next step level? What's that area of your life, personally, professionally, that you're taking to the next level right now?
Yeah, I think professionally, I'd like to continue to move the genetics forward here at our place. We've been doing the show barn now for about 3 or 4 years, and I think back to when we put the first animal down there, and I thought, wow, I got a one that's really going to be great, and she stunk, like it was pretty rough the first year, and then second year we had a little bit of success. And third year, I think this is the fourth year. Third year was nice. We had a great year. And then this year we had some really, really good success. And the people we've met along the way have been wonderful. Guy like Tim Abbott and
Oh, yeah.
even Mike Duckett. Now we're actually going to have a sale together in the spring of next year. So, or just met those people over the years and have worked together, and we're super excited about that opportunity as well.
So what date should we mark our calendars to come to Vir-Clar?
Yeah, keep them open on May 1st and the 2nd. We'll be having a little get together the night before the sale, and the sale will be on the 2nd. So,
Well, excellent. Well, that sounds like a good time. I might have to come back for that.
all right. I hope you guys do. That'd be great.
And our good buddy Tim, who's a very familiar voice on Uplevel Dairy as well. Well, that sounds like a great Uplevel for you. Something that speaks to your passion for genetics that you've talked about throughout our conversation today.
Yeah.
But also, it also just adds to that level of excellence and the culture that we've been talking about here at Vir-Clar too, and the ability to have the type of farm that you can welcome people into and show them not just genetics and cattle, but really the fabric of who you are and what you do, and that's a reflection of ownership, management, but ultimately leadership.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you, JR, on your own growth into those roles, and excited to see what's next for you here at Vir-Clar.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You just heard from JR Boyke of Vir-Clar Farms. He teaches us that yes, legacy matters, but so does leadership and hard work every single day. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. I'm Peggy Coffeen, and as always, please give a 5-star rating or review and share this episode with someone else that you think would benefit from it. As always, keep on growing, keep on learning, and up-leveling your dairy. This episode is brought to you by Compeer Financial. Compeer Financial is a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture in rural America. Their dairy team brings world-class expertise and tailored solutions to support dairy producers' financial goals and lending needs.